What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Warren Watch Wrestling back at you with another video, and today we'll be breaking down who I think could possibly win Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. We'll be talking about a lot of options, talking about who we think could win, why it would be a good idea for them to win. These are my top 10 favorite candidates right now. Not my personal favorite, who I would want to win, but who I think is most likely to win. And then we'll break it down into a couple categories and who I think my top three are for both men and women. So without further ado, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe. We're up to 29, almost to 30, so that's a great start for us. Let's jump right into it. So starting off for the men's side of things, like I said, I broke this into a couple categories. Our first category would be characters I think could definitely use this for a little bit of saving. Also, young and upcoming is the first category I kind of have. Starting with Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Dirty Dom would be a great Money in the Bank candidate. Right now, his AAA stock is at an all-time high, but his WWE stock right now is very, very low. He's been taking loss after loss, pin after pin. I went over this on my Twitter review. I think he's lost his last, 20 matches or whatever it might have been. He just lost to Dragon Lee for absolutely no reason last week. So we definitely got to put some stock back into Dom. Now, they do this thing where they have the Money in the Bank champion lose match after match, and then they might get a big win come down the line. This could be his big win. Do I really see this happening? Not much with the way that he's been booked recently. I don't see them pushing him to the main event scene. Although I think it would not be a bad decision. It does make a lot of sense. He's a perfect type of character to have a Money in the Bank. Perfect type of character that could cash in with the Money in the Bank and run around with it and be a little Weasley heel champion. I do see this being a great decision. Do I see them actually pulling the trigger here? Not really, but I would not be mad if they did pull the trigger on Dom Mysterio to be Mr. Money in the Bank. Finn Balor right now is at pretty much the highest stock he's ever had since he's been the Universal Champion. Been on low. He's on a little bit of a win streak right now. I think it would be a pleasant surprise to see the Money in the Bank go to a babyface, someone that is that hinge where he used to be heel, he's back to being babyface, but I could see him being someone to cash in a Money in the Bank to win a title. And a lot of Finn Balor fans, hey, if this is how we get our world title, I don't mind it. I'll absolutely take it. Finn has been working his ass off the last 10 years. Should definitely be in the match with the work he's been doing. He's in a feud with Gunther right now. So maybe he'll win that feud and get a world title match. I don't see him winning the feud against Gunther, but a Money in the Bank could definitely shoot him right to that main event scene being Mr. Money in the Bank. Once again, this is more of the younger talent that we're moving into. Ethan Page. I talked about this in the Who Will Dethrone Champions video, where he could be the next IC champion. But if they really want to strap a rocket to Ethan Page, they absolutely could. I don't want to say a better version, but he reminds me of like The Miz. He's better in the ring than The Miz. Not as good on the mic, but still is great on the microphone. This Weasley here, like heel character that is very much just stubborn and obnoxious as all hell. He would be a great Money in the Bank. If you ask me who fits the Money in the Bank the best, it's someone like an Ethan Page, because he could win the Money in the Bank, and when he cashes in or wins a championship, he would never bring up the fact that it's due to Money in the Bank. He would just talk about how he's the greatest champion. He fits the Money in the Bank mold to an absolute T. So that's why I think Ethan Page should be in consideration. This is also just a way for them to put a rocket on a new superstar and shoot them to the moon. He would not be a bad decision. I think he would play this role absolutely perfect if WWE had the balls to do it. Another young talent that they could absolutely shoot to the moon is Javon Evans. Right now, Javon is in a feud with Big Cass. I think Javon's going to have more of a slow build to the main event scene. He's going to work his way through the mid card, continue to get over and over with the fans, as he already is super over by his in-ring ability. Once his promos get a little bit better, I can see him getting pushed to that main event scene. But if you wanted to crown a new super young champion, have someone break Randy Orton's record for the youngest champion, this is your guy to do it. I don't know the next time we'll see someone this young on the main roster, this good and this experience as he is and this great as he is in the ring. And obviously the crowd and the kids absolutely love him. So if you were to strap a rocket to someone, you could absolutely do that with Javon Evans. First, he should just be in the match no matter what anyway, because he's going to do some absolutely freaky shit in this match, jumping off at anything. You've seen what he did in the IC ladder match at WrestleMania. So Javon Evans definitely should be a candidate to win the Money in the Bank. He should be in the conversations. Moving on now to more of like the main event type of scene. The next three guys after saying were like super main eventers, but Sami Zayn literally just won the world title, so he is a main eventer. Whether you like him or not, he just is in that category right now. Sami Zayn, the heel character that he is right now, would be perfect for the Money in the Bank. I think one thing that they definitely could do is if we did run Kevin Owens versus CM Punk in a rematch at Money in the Bank and Sami Zayn was to be the Money in the Bank winner, absolutely could see him cashing in on that match, whether it's cashing in on Kevin Owens or screwing Kevin Owens over to win the title. Could absolutely see that being a path here for Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn fans, don't count out. You might see a 2-time champion in Sami Zayn. Or he could have a cash and loss, but I think that is a path for Sami Zayn to win Money in the Bank. Gunther, we've seen him kind of win a lot of things already as it is. They do want to push him as this heel champion. If he had the Money in the Bank, he definitely would cash it in a heel type of way, come out on a champion that's already down, already beaten, already broken, and break the hearts of a lot of people. Whether that's us see a newcomer win a champion, someone that we would love to see win a champion, and then he comes in and breaks everyone's hearts, that's the perfect role for him to be in. That's the perfect type of Gunther ring general kind of mold that he is. So Gunther should definitely be in considerations if you once again want to give it to an already established star. And here's one that not a lot of people are talking about, but I could see them giving it to Cody Rhodes. Not many people have Cody Rhodes on their Money in the Bank list of possible winners, but Cody Rhodes, once again, if you want to give it to an established star, he's one of your top stars in the business. Probably, he's QB1, but Roman's probably a bigger star, but he is right under Roman in my personal opinion. I think Cody, this would be also a great way if you wanted to actually have the balls to pull the trigger and make him a heel. You could do that with a Money in the Bank briefcase. Make him cash it on someone. This way he could still be a justified heel because he took the opportunity when it was there and handed it to him, and he could win his title back, and you could set up whatever match you want to set up at WrestleMania with your golden boy, Cody Rhodes, being the champion, and he could go into WrestleMania as a heel. We've seen him the last couple WrestleManias go against a super over heel, such as Randy Orton, John Cena. They were heels, but the crowd absolutely loved them. So Cody was getting booed. Now, granted to Cody, he can get over on a crowd booing him. He does turn those boos into cheers. He's better at that than anyone else I actually know. But if you were to strap or give him the Money in the Bank briefcase and let him run around with that and have him actually cash in that, I think it would be a pleasant surprise. And I would not be mad to see Cody Rhodes, 1, in the match, but 2, if he won it, that would be fine with me. And this way we could give him everything. He's won the Royal Rumble. He's obviously won every title. And now he could have possibly win Money in the Bank. Why not do it for Mr. Cody Rhodes, your QB1? Now we're into my top 3 favorites to actually win the Money in the Bank. These are my top 3 candidates. I think Braun Breaker is he's in my 3rd place right now to win the Money in the Bank. He could definitely use the Money in the Bank to get him over, to get him to the main event scene again, to strap him as a champion. I personally don't want him to win it because I want him to win his first world title in a one-on-one match, not a match where he had to be a snidely heel to win it. But if you did want to give him a championship opportunity and you're too worried about having him pin CM Punk or whoever the champion might be, hell, if it's Roman Reigns, that'd be crazy. But if you wanted to give him the Money in the Bank briefcase, it would make a lot of sense to have him run around with that and have him win a title again. If you're scared to actually let him beat one of your super old over baby faces, give him the Money in the Bank briefcase. That's how we keep him relevant. That's how we keep him around. Right now, he obviously has that great feud with Oba going on. And if they want to have a match at Money in the Bank, that's fine too. But I think he has to be a top 3 candidate to win Money in the Bank this year. At number 2, I do got Mr. L.A. Knight. Yeah. Currently in a feud with Roman Reigns, and we haven't announced when that match is, which is the only reason I don't have him number 1 is because he might not even be in the Money in the Bank match because he might be busy at Money in the Bank. He's caught up in the Bloodline vortex as he's been forever. Him and Solo now looking like they're going to be a team of some sorts to take out the Bloodline. But he has a feud with Roman going on. He's going to have his match after the AAA tournament is wrapped up and Roman most likely faces Penta. So if they have the match at Money in the Bank, we won't see Mr. LA Knight in Mr. Money in the Bank. But LA Knight, if he is in that match, he's always great for that hopeful spot where everyone's rooting for him to get his opportunity and win, but he can't get it done because someone else is going to come in last minute, pull him off, and get a win in the end. That's what we've been doing with LA Knight, but LA Knight deserves this. Was what everyone wants to see him win. No, us LA Knight fans would not be mad if he won his first world title with a cash-in. I think it would be absolutely electric if he won, and that cash-in would be one of the biggest pops ever in wrestling. Hearing his the crowd would go crazy hearing that if he had the Money in the Bank briefcase and he came out to cash in on someone. So LA Knight has to be one of the absolute favorites to win this, but he's not my favorite because my favorite is Mr. Trick Williams. Now, I was thinking about this in the sense that Trick Williams lost his USA title, so he was going to get pushed to the main event scene, and he is absolutely, beloved by the WWE. You can see backstage, they put him out there as much as they can. He's worked with Dude Perfect. He was on ESPN. He's been on Good Morning America. They're throwing Trick Williams on mainstream as much as they can. Now, the only reason I am double guessing this is because the fact that he did just come out and confront Baron Corbin again. So we might just have him go right back to the United States picture. But if they did want to actually move on from that, I think he was the absolute favorite after SmackDown. I have kind of changed my mind, but I'm not going to change it right now. I'm going to stick with Trick Williams being Mr. Money in the Bank because he is someone that could absolutely cash in, win a title, and then not feel like it's not deserved or it's a fluke or whatever it might be. A cash in from Trick wouldn't undermine his actual championship win. I think it would actually kind of build towards his character as he does anything he can. He's an over heel. Like, he's not, wouldn't consider him to be a babyface. He's a heel that is kind of beloved because he has more heel tendencies than some of the, baby faces do have. But I think Trick right now is my favorite to win Mr. Money in the Bank. Now it's time to jump over to the women's side of thing. Once again, I kind of split this up into a couple categories, starting off with if you want to push a younger star, and then we have the main eventers, and then we have my top three. But for the younger stars, I think I'm going to start off with probably one that is in a lot of people's top three, but she's not in my top three. That's Sol Ruca. I think Sol Ruca would be absolutely fantastic in the match. I mean, hell, she's on the poster for Money in the Bank, so she should absolutely be in the Money in the Bank match. I don't see her really being much of a candidate to win it, though, in my personal opinion, because right now she is going back after the IC title, and eventually there was kind of reports backstage that they weren't overly impressed with her first title run. But I think they would pull the trigger giving her the IC title back before they pull the trigger giving her Money in the Bank. Also, her being a babyface, she seems like not the type to actually cash in a Money in the Bank. I just don't think it fits her character, but we have to include her on the list because she is just one of the most prized young possessions in WWE right now. Another one being Roxanne. I think the Money in the Bank will fit Roxanne's character a lot better. Obviously, as we've seen, the way Roxanne is booked does not give me a lot of hope that they would give her this opportunity to hold the Money in the Bank. Hell, if they gave it to her, I would be scared that she might actually lose her cash in. But Roxanne is someone that was the prodigy. Roxanne is someone that was the prodigy, that did come up and get put in the Judgment Day and has been on screen every single week that she's been on Monday Night Raw pretty much. She's booked in matches. I mean, she's booked as the pin magnet for the Judgment Day right now, which isn't great. But if you want to revive her career, build her back up, and send her to the main event scene, pull the trigger, give her Money in the Bank. She could absolutely go right to the main event scene and fit in on Monday Night Raw. This could definitely cause a little conflict in the Judgment Day, as she has the Money in the Bank, Raquel has the IC title, and Liv could still be your world champion, and she could cash in on either one of them. So I think that would cause for a lot of fun if Roxanne was to actually be given this opportunity. Once again, do I see them doing it? No, but I would be happy if they did pull the trigger on Roxanne. Then up next, we do have Tatum Paxley. I think giving this to Tatum Paxley would be a great show of trust from WWE that they do see a lot of future in her. I think Tatum Paxley is the whole package. I think her character work is terrific. I've spoken to her before. She was in my top 10 list. I think everything she has it all to be on the main roster, to be pushed to the main event scene. I do see her having a slow grind. In my video before, I had her and Bliss winning the tag titles, and then them feuding with Charlotte, and then that turning into a split up, and then her getting bullied by Bliss is how I see her future progressing to get her over as a super babyface and turn Bliss heel. But if you did just want to strap a rocket on her from the beginning, hell, give her the Money in the Bank. And if you really want to make things very interesting, you could have Charlotte win the title off of Chelsea or whoever might have the title at the time. And then Tatum could have the Money in the Bank, causing a little disconnect there. And that could absolutely lead to the breakup of Charlexa or whatever it might be. But I love Tatum, and I would absolutely love to see her with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Paige is an interesting option. I don't think anyone has said Paige so far in any of the takes I've seen, but Paige is definitely someone that could be pushed, right? She came back in a tag team, which no one really wants to see her in. She's in a feud right now with Nikki Bella, which isn't really going to lead to a world championship opportunity. But if we wanted to run that feud really quick on a couple weeks of Raw or SmackDown that she's on, running a couple weeks of SmackDown, a couple matches here and there, move her on to the next thing that she can do, and not to be rude, but keep the bells off screen until they do both get healthy and can come back as a tag team, I think Paige winning Money in the Bank would be a great decision. She still is young. She's not old, so we could definitely keep her around for a while. This could definitely escalate her back up to the top where she used to be, because right now she does not feel like the main eventer that she was before. So if you want to get her back to that level, you could easily just give her Money in the Bank. She could cash in on maybe Liv Morgan, because so she can stay babyface, or if you want to turn a heel, she can cash it on a Chelsea Green, a beloved babyface, to keep her, make a switch there, make her a heel, whatever you want to do with her. But if you want to shoot her back to the person and the main eventer that she used to be, giving her a Money Bank is a very quick, easy way, fast route to do that. And we also have Stephanie Vaquer. I put her in here. This is where I kind of start overloading it with main eventers, because it seems like, especially on the women's side, they're kind of scared to pull the trigger for a young and up-and-comer. Just the way that the young and up-and-comers have been booked in the women's division is partially why I would say that. But Stephanie Vaquer is someone that could win the title. The only reason I think that she wouldn't be the best choice is, once again, character-wise, it doesn't really fit her in the sense of cashing in. She's more of a dominant champion where she goes out there and she just wins because she's a better wrestler, and she's kind of a baby face right now, where I don't think she would take the easy way out with a Money in the Bank, but absolutely she should be in the match because she would put on, once again, great moves in the match. But she's someone that I would include in my top 10 and someone that I could see them giving this opportunity to, because they do see a lot of potential in Stephanie as the way they've been booking her so far. So giving her the Money in the Bank is something I could absolutely see happening. Another main eventer is Charlotte. I was going to put Charlotte higher on this list because she never has won the Money in the Bank, and this could absolutely lead to her heel turn. If she wanted to cash in on Chelsea or whatever it might be, we could give her her 15th world title. Easy way to shoot Charlotte back up to the main event scene, where she's been kind of out of for a little bit now, but easy way to shoot her back up to the main event scene and put her there. But Charlotte Flair is someone that we love to give, accolades too. And we already gave her Royal Rumble wins. We given her world title after world title. We gave her WrestleMania main event. So why not give her Money in the Bank as well to complete this whole trophy case that she does have? To kind of go along with that, also have Becky Lynch on here. Becky Lynch was a heel before she left. She's kind of, I would say, a tweener right now, because she's not fully babyface, because some of the promos she does cut are hard hitting, kind of like the way babyface Cena would cut a promo, but not comparing her to Cena, but you know what I mean. She still takes digs and jabs at other wrestlers like as if she was a heel. And so we'll still see where it goes, because if her and Stephanie feud, I don't think it's going to be babyface. They might very well make it that simple, but I think someone has to have a darker edge to them. Once again, like I said about Charlotte, Becky is someone that you could give this Money in the Bank briefcase to. We've given her everything else you can imagine, so why not give her a Money in the Bank briefcase to add to her accolade list? Just like her husband, her hot husband, Seth Rollins, had 2 great cash-ins. I'm sure if Becky Lynch had the Money in the Bank, she would have a very, very memorable cash-in as well. But now it's time to move on to my top 3 favorites to actually win the Money in the Bank. And at number 3, I have Tiffany Stratton. The only reason I was debating on putting Tiffany Stratton this high or on this list in general is because she did just win the Money in the Bank briefcase. So it's kind of like, okay, we're going to go right back to Tiffany Stratton when there's plenty of other women out there in the sea. But it's also a way for them to put the title on Tiffany Stratton. Easy story to tell here. I think she might win the title anyway with just turning her back on Chelsea and beating Chelsea clean. But if they did want to put Tiffany Stratton in this match, it could definitely lead to some disconnect, because Chelsea will always have to watch over her shoulder on Tiffany cashing in until we inevitably get the heel turn from Tiffany Stratton. And also, this is a big money match for WWE. They want to see Tiffany take on Rhea Ripley, most likely at WrestleMania or whatever big show they have coming up. I'm sure they see more money in Tiffany versus Rhea than they would in Chelsea versus Rhea. Me personally, I would love to see Chelsea state champion, but this is a great way to, once again, keep Tiffany Stratton in the main event scene, making her champion while also turning her heel and kind of ripping out the hearts of all the fans that are behind Tiffy and Chelsea right now. Number 2, this one is crazy. I understand that not many people are going to get behind this one, but Blake Monroe. I think Blake Monroe winning Money in the Bank, one, absolutely fixes her character, but also fits her character. It fits her character. She is kind of like this bad girl type of heel where she's just better than everyone, is what her gimmick really is. You wouldn't know that if you watch the main roster, because she has yet to do anything on the main roster. But we're not going to get into that right now. I think this is a great way, like I said, to revitalize her, a great way to introduce her for the 15th time. If you put her in this match, she was to end up to win it. She could be a very, very fun Money in the Bank champion, and you could introduce yourself another new young star to the main event scene for the women's division. I think Blake Monroe is an absolutely terrific choice to choose. I wouldn't be mad if she won it. Do I think she actually has a real possibility? Not really, with the way she's been booked so far, or I should say not booked so far. But if they did want to absolutely strap a rocket onto a young star that could handle the baggage of being a Money in the Bank, Blake Monroe could absolutely do that for you. And then my number one spot, this is a little bit of optimism, but it's Lyra Valkyria. Like I said, Lyra Valkyria, once again, I've been talking a lot about fit and character. Her character fits the Money in the Bank to a T right now. She is a crazy possessed, bird lady, as they call her, but crazy possessed character that just, wants to win her titles back. And her losing to Sol Ruka kind of means that she's out of that IC title picture. As of now, they still very well could do a triple threat match or give the title back to Sol Ruka to have her face Lyra, to them to go off in a feud. But if WWE plays their cards right, they have a superstar, I think, in Lyra. She's obviously is absolutely terrific in the ring. She has a good presentation, in my opinion, good entrance theme. She is getting a lot better on her promos and getting a lot better in her segments with her character work. So if you want to strap a rocket to someone, I think Lyra should be that person that you give the Money in the Bank to. Like I said, she's heel, so her getting the Money in the Bank, she could cash in on a babyface champion, whether that be a Stephanie, a Becky, a Chelsea, or whoever else that could win the title as a babyface. Even if she wants to cash in on Liv, that'd be fine too, but people might cheer that. But having Lyra win this could absolutely keep her and push her to the main event scene. And I do think if you gave her the ball, she could run with it. So I think Lyra should be the favorite to win the women's Money in the Bank. But there you go. Those are my takes on who I think the top 10 favorite candidates are for men and for women. Let me know who you think I forgot on the men's side and the women's side. If you agree with any of my opinions, if you think they absolutely suck, let me know in the comments down below. Drop a like, drop subscribe. It's been Warren Watching Wrestling. Y'all stay beautiful, world.